Welcome back. We are going to knock out another video today. This is going to be a little bit of a different style, and it's one that I've been really looking forward to. We're going to be talking about if you have to carry one gun and only one gun, which gun is it going to be? None of the guns on this tier list are going to be bad guns, so we're going to get rid of a lot of tiers here. You're going to be looking at S tier and A tier weapons. Okay, if you're going to carry one gun, it has to fill specific roles. It's got to cover all of your bases, right? So it needs to either be able to be used in close quarters as like an assault style weapon or flex into that role. And it also needs to fill the role of dedicated marksman rifle and maybe like a little bit of a sniper rifle. We need a gun that can perform all of these tasks well enough to be carried just by itself. Why would you carry one gun? What's the purpose of this? Well, let's say you want to keep the weight down on your character. You want more stamina to sprint around the map. Maybe you're going into a gas zone and you want to leave a shoulder slot open so you can take back maybe an M4, maybe an SVD. Who knows what you're going to find? Okay, maybe another reason is maybe you have gear fear and you're afraid that if you die, you're going to lose, two guns instead of one. So there's a lot of reasons why you might carry a single gun. Today we're going to be looking at our DayZ weapons and deciding which of those guns best fits this role. Let's get popping. Real quick, this is a stat of all the views I have and how many of those views are not subscribers. If you're liking the content, enjoying what I do here, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. This stat is abysmal. It hurts my soul. I can't sleep at night. I toss and turn, and I wonder about all of you. And I worry. I get concerned. I cry. Please subscribe. Starting off with my beloved, the SKS. The SKS has a phenomenal projectile speed at 704, allowing you to stretch it out to farther ranges. It retains its damage up to 520 meters, I believe, which is quite far out. The SKS can be stretched out to longer ranges. Ask me how I know. And with its ability to do 110 shock damage and 110 health damage per round, it can handle oh crap scenarios where you just stumble across another player. Again, ask me how I know. Now that guy was dead within the first two shots, but a target can never be too dead, so violence is approved in this scenario. The SKS, so it is a great option. It's a fantastic option if you're going to carry one gun. Also because the ammunition is so common throughout most of the map, farms, villages, towns. You find little piles of rounds. You can also find boxes fairly reliably at hunting locations, at least on Chernarus. This gun is fantastic. If you have a community server that you play on, like mine, for example, where you have the different colored versions of the SKS available, that is also a huge benefit because they come in black and green, and oh my gosh, they're beautiful. The SKS is fantastic. It leaves a little to be desired, but it is quite well rounded. It's an excellent choice. If I see someone running an SKS, I shall consider you a gentleman. We're going to put the SKS in A tier. You can't go wrong. It's super reliable. It's my favorite gun in the game. It's not the best gun in the game, but it sure is my favorite. There are many rifles like this one, but this one is mine. So the SKS is going to serve as our baseline. I want to see, out of all of our contenders, health damage and shock damage over 100. This is going to matter because at range there is damage drop-off, and if you're going to experience damage drop-off, you want to have a weapon that is on the higher side of health and shock damage. So the SKS is a good baseline. It's 110, and that can kind of give you a good idea of what guns we're going to look at, and then understand that that's going to exclude a lot of guns. A lot of assault rifles have kind of a multi-tool role. but they don't exactly meet the criteria we're looking for. I'm looking for something that can be used in CQB, yes, but it can also reliably stop people at farther ranges. And a lot of assault rifles that would normally be S tier in an assault rifle tier list are not going to end up on this list because they lacked that versatility at range. And likewise, bolt action sniper rifles can't really make this list either, simply because they don't fill the role of CQB weapon well at all. The second you have multiple targets and you have to rack your bolt back, you're going to be in big trouble. So this is going to exclude just about every sniper rifle other than the semi-automatics. A assault rifle that I believe can be considered in this list, though, with the introduction of the new optics, is the AUG AX. The AUG has phenomenal projectile speed, and with that new optic, it is possible to flex this into a marksman rifle style role, and there are a lot of benefits to using this gun in general. One, it can be suppressed with the metal suppressor. So that is a massive benefit when you're talking about sniping at range. The only downfall that I see in this gun is I personally would like a little more health damage and a little more shock damage out of this weapon. I think it sits around 107 health damage and 107 shock. I'll put stats up here. That's my only gripe with it. I would like to see, because we're carrying one gun, I would like a little more health and shock damage, because when you're shooting at range, we're talking like DMR sniper rifle ranges where you're going to be wanting to fire in semi-auto, not fully automatic, right? So this serves the CQB role quite well. But it's not the perfect choice. Still though, this is a great choice. I'm gonna put it above the SKS in A tier. I would just like to see a little more health damage and a little more shock damage. I personally would like to see above 110 to break into the S tier ranks. But I'm gonna put it above the SKS because I think you could argue that it serves the sniper role better, because the bullet velocity is higher than the SKS. So it's going to be easier to track targets, and the round capacity is going to be much higher as well. Just even the base magazine of 30 rounds going up all the way to 60. This is good. This is honestly, it's going to be a pretty good choice. Pretty good. I'd like to see more health and shock. We'll put it in A tier and we'll move on. I just wanted to throw it in there almost as an honorable mention. That new optic does make a difference in the performance that you can get out of this gun. Here we go. We're going to get into our first S tier option. Remember how I said, I'm kind of looking for over 110 to break into the S tier ranks, and the VSD, the SVD, does that in spades, on top of being able to take the new PSO6, the highest level of zoom you can get on this platform, on top of being able to take a military suppressor. This thing has great bullet velocity, fairly decent DPS for something that is semi-automatic. We're over 1,000 here. So what are the downsides? Like I said, I want to put this in S tier. The downside is it kind of shares the same flaw that like the SKS shares, with the fact that it's 10 rounds, right? And unlike the SKS, this can, you can just mag swap it instead of manually loading the rounds. But 10 rounds, if you have more than 2 targets, things could get a little hairy. And still, the DPS could be improved. There are better guns on this list that we're going to talk about here in just a little bit shortly that I think are ultimately better picks than this gun. Still, though, I think it deserves S tier. Just the raw capability of this. It can definitely be used in close quarters. It is a long gun, but The DPS on it doesn't lie. This will beat out a good majority of the guns in the game in close quarters. Certainly capable, can hold you over. We're going to stick it in S tier, and we're going to keep on trucking. Okay, and this is just going to about wrap up this tier list. We need to talk about these two guns together. We're going to talk about the LAR, which is a battle rifle, and the DMR, which is, well, it's a DMR, designated marksman rifle. So these two are going to solve some of the problems we've had with the other options that we've already looked at, and that is magazine capacity. Now, magazine capacity for the majority of your gunfights in DayZ really isn't going to matter unless you have to deal with multiple targets within fractions of a second of each other. And because we're looking at carrying only one gun, this is something you kind of need to consider, because you're not going to have, you know, kind of the stereotypical loadout, which is a sniper rifle and an assault rifle. You are going to have something that is supposed to do both. So both of these guns have great shock and health damage values. The DMR is going to excel in that category. The DMR is also going to retain its damage over range just a bit more. Both have pretty serviceable projectile speeds. The DMR is better there. However, I'm going to give the top spot to the FAL, the LAR. I don't know, can we just call guns what they are? It's an FAL. The reason I'm going to give it to the FAL is because we are talking about you have one gun. You are only gonna have one gun. Okay, both of these can take the new optic, so they're both going to be fairly capable at longer ranges for taking shots, and their bullet velocities are high enough. However, we're overlooking something. The LAR, you can flip it into full auto mode, baby. That's a huge deal, and it's actually much higher DPS than the LAR. So the LAR, if you didn't know, the FAL, has the third highest damage per second out of all of the guns in the game. So when it comes to having one rifle to do it all, you would be hard pressed to beat the FAL. In close quarters, this has got you covered. Third highest DPS in the game out of all guns. And at longer range, you've got enough projectile speed to take care of whatever you need. And that is it. That's our tier list, everyone. That wraps it up. That's all the guns that I can really consider statistically for this very specific role of carrying one gun. I want to thank you all for watching. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. That stat that I showed earlier is absolutely horrendous. Please help me improve that. It makes me sad. Also, hey guys, I have a community server over on PlayStation. It's called Official Premium, all caps. You can search it. We play on Chernarus, US based, PlayStation only. It's an official style server, but we've locked up some of the best items in the game behind a quest line, which involves the briefcase and briefcase keys from Sakal. So unlimited stamina, long days, short nights, no boosted loot or any crap like that. We do have build anywhere as well. Stay tuned, guys. I got more videos. I will see you sometime soon. I'm exhausted. I think we're gonna do snipers next. I don't know. Deuces.